Welcome back, everybody. Please like and subscribe to the channel if you have not already. It's great to see all you guys again. I'm going to hang out for about an hour here, and I want to convey a really important message. We'll do that first. We'll get rid of the important stuff first, and then we'll take questions at the end. But it's really good to see all you guys. Crypto Mans, hello. How you doing, man? Crypto Elite, what's up? Esteban 5555, Ali RV. We've got Bufo on the beat. We've got 7 Silver, Stay Golden, and a Wild SJ appears. Nice. I see what you did there. Let's see. Yeah, your name reminds me of Pokemon when you're walking through the tall grass. I don't know if that's what you were going for, SJ, but it's pretty awesome. PD says, hello. Andres, what's up? Optimal Timeline, what's up? Let's just give a couple seconds for everyone to pile on in here. Coffee, you the man, boss. No, you, sir. You the man. Mike Maloney, what's up, sir? JB, hello from the UK. Hello from across the pond over there. Johnny Tran, what's up? MT Coiner, clickbaiting again. Good, man. Yeah, well, guys, I have a message for you. And if you've been around here for a while, you probably understand. You probably already kind of know what I'm going to say, right? Like, I don't need to tell a lot of people this, but if you're brand new, you probably do need to hear the message because it's kind of like Richard was saying in his Bitcoin debates, right? I think a lot of people in crypto, especially when the bear markets come and when prices are down, a lot of people lose the plot. And what do I mean by lose the plot? They get paper hands, and they, all the talk about holding for years just goes right out the window. And they try to go chase a coin that, whatever's pumping this week or the flavor of the month, but nobody, the reason that you're going to get wrecked on PulseChain, a lot of you probably, is because you're not going to heed this message that the only money in crypto is made by long-term holders. Seriously, you can play any side game you want. Some people might have figured out some creative way to, milk NFTs or something. But, for the vast 99.99% of you that don't have insider information or that aren't playing with, gigantic bags, the best way for starting out as a small individual, and when I say small, I just mean, a couple $100 to a couple $1,000s. You're not going to make the life-changing money by day trading or by chasing pumps or by hopping into the flavor of the month, because there's always a flavor of the month in crypto, right? So the only real winners, again, are long-term holders. And I know nobody really wants to hear that, right? Nobody actually wants to hear that the best thing to do is oftentimes sit around and just buy the coin and do nothing at all. Or better yet, go tell other people to buy the coin and promote it and then really generate demand. I think generating demand is one of the most productive activities you can do in cryptocurrency. But aside from that, if you're starting out with a small bag, look, if you're a guy with $1 million and you make a 2x, you could double your money. That's $2 million. That's a lot of money. A 2x or a 3x makes a lot bigger difference to someone that's already a multimillionaire. But for the average Joe, that's putting in $100 or $1,000. In order to get financially free in crypto, you need the 100x, the 1000x, maybe even the 10,000x one day. I still haven't experienced 10,000x, but I'll tell you what, a 1000x is pretty great. And I didn't get there by dumping my bags the second I got a 2x or a 3x. And that's what I want to warn a lot of you guys about PulseChain, and especially PulseX too. So let's run through a scenario. I know there's a lot of you probably watching right now that found out about PulseChain a little bit late. You were a little bit too late and that's okay. I mean, that's understandable. The PulseChain sacrifice phase only lasted 2 weeks, right? Whereas the PulseX sacrifice phase came afterwards, and it lasted, like 4 to 6 weeks or something. There's a lot more time to get in for PulseX, which is why there's a lot more people out there sitting around with big bags of PulseX and wishing they got a bag of Pulse. So if you're one of those people, just try to think outside the box. Like, there's a lot of other people like you. Okay. Like, you're not the only one. If you're thinking you're going to swap PulseX for PulseChain right at the launch, pre-bridge or whatever, and then become an overnight millionaire, that's the message of this video. Because I have news for you. You're not going to become an overnight millionaire. You need to hold these coins on a monthly and yearly time frame. And I really do mean years. I mean, it's tax advantageous anyway to hold something for longer than a year, but there's going to be so much volatility in the beginning. And a lot of you guys thinking that you're going to trade your PulseX for PulseChain, and then PulseChain is just going to take off and you're going to become rich after maybe a 2x or a 3x. You might get a 2x, but if you only put in $1,000, Well, congrats. Now you're sitting there with $2,000 and then you cash yourself out early on one of the greatest opportunities in crypto in human history. And what, you have enough money to maybe like buy a new iPhone? Like an iPhone is not going to, is not life-changing money. Okay. And I'm not trying to be rude. I'm just trying to be realistic because a lot of people aren't going to tell you this. And what I see when I look on social media is I see a lot of hopium and dreams about, PulseX is going to go to the moon right away. It's never going to have a dip, or people are estimating like crazy multiples after the first month. And it's wishful thinking, guys. It's wishful thinking because I have a strong intuition. And again, I don't have a crystal ball. But because of the amount of people that piled into PulseX after the PulseChain sacrifice and are now looking to swap some of their PLSX for PLS because they want to secure both of their bags. And I get it, guys. I want both. I would love to have a big bag of both of those coins, right? I think that's a good idea. But it doesn't mean that just because you own the coin that it's going to do a 50x in the first month. In fact, the fact that you're probably trying to swap your PulseX for PulseChain, if that's what you're thinking about doing, means look around you guys. A lot of other people probably had the same idea. You really think you're the only one with that idea? So what I'm predicting, and again, guys, I'm just a guy on YouTube. Okay. I could be totally wrong here, and I would love to be wrong. I would actually love to be wrong about this, but I think ratio wise in the early days, we see a huge dip in PulseX and a huge spike in PulseChain. Like that's really what I think happens. And then, the problem that a lot of people have is thinking that they have to do something at all on the first 24 to 48 hours. For 99% of you guys, you'll probably be better off just not doing anything. And that's how you're going to get wrecked in PulseChain, because you're thinking that there's something to be done when the only thing to do, and I know it's important, it's boring, right? There's no strategy here. It's buy the coin and sit on your ass for months and years and like thank me in 2025. You know what I mean? Like it's not what people want to hear. People want to hear which button do I press and where do I trade in and out. It's not about trading. It never was. Okay. I mean, the people that bought Bitcoin at $1 and then sold it at $100, they thought they did amazing, but there's no way they were ever going to imagine that Bitcoin was going to hit $1,000 or even $10,000, let alone where we at today, like 45K or something. The same is true for HEX. The same is true for assets like PulseChain. I think HEX and PulseChain are going to follow similar trajectories as Bitcoin and Ethereum because they're essentially targeting the same respective markets. I mean, HEX is a better Bitcoin, whereas PulseChain is a better Ethereum. They're very, very, very similar, but there's less negative externalities in HEX. I mean, PulseChain's cheaper and faster, literal clone of Ethereum, world's biggest airdrop, great marketing. HEX has great game theory baked into it. You can time lock it to actually earn interest on your coins. It's programmable money, and it's the first thing you should program is obviously interest. I'm surprised nobody had done HEX sooner, to be honest, but that's what you're holding when you're holding HEX and PulseChain. And PulseX is like, it's pretty awesome because you're basically holding shares in like the new Uniswap, which is the #1 application on Ethereum today. And HEX will be the store of value, PulseChain will be the network layer, and PulseX will be the premier trading platform on the walled garden that we're all creating. But going back to the original point, guys, a lot of you are probably impatient because, I mean, and that's understandable. I was too. Take it from me, who lost a lot of money in crypto. And I'm just trying to warn you guys. I'm not trying to be an asshole here. I'm trying to warn you that I've been in crypto for 7 years. And I did the same. I had the same mentality that a lot of you probably have when you first came in, where you're thinking, oh, if I just buy the right coins and flip them and, hold them for a couple months here and there and filter one into this when it's high, buy low, sell high. It's a lot easier said than done. It plays out a lot better in your, but if you feel like you have to do something, then go promote the coin. Go generate demand. I think generating demand is one of the most valuable things you can do in this ecosystem. Like I really, really do. And that's my shtick for today. Audio horrible. Shit. Hello. How's my audio now? Okay. How's my audio, guys? Hold on a second. Shit. How we doing? Oh no, my audio has been busted this whole time. Okay, guys, is my audio good now? Hey, guys. All right, it's fixed now. Oof. God damn it. 10 minutes of Roboto. Shit. All right. Well, we missed all that. No. Oh my God. Crap. It's because I had the settings on. I turned off automatically adjust mic volume, and now I turned on automatically. All right. That was my rant. Hope you guys liked it. See you later. Ah, shit, guys. All right. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. All right. Let's go. Let's backtrack a little bit, guys. Basically, most of you are impatient. A lot of people that might be new to crypto might have missed the plot early on, essentially. And I'm speaking from experience, right? I'm speaking from the sense that I used to think that I had to do something in crypto, right? And really, a lot of times action will actually end up wrecking you. Like sometimes just buying and holding and sitting on your ass is not what people want to hear, but that's the best non-financial advice that I can often give. So the way people are going to get wrecked in PulseChain is that a lot of people are going to think that they have to time the market, not knowing that time in the market beats time in the market. Okay. So you're not going to be an overnight millionaire is what I'm trying to say. That's the gist of the message. And the only people that win in crypto are holders, long-term holders and founders, but mostly long-term holders. And take it from somebody that lost tons of money in 2017. I got in crypto in 2015. I lost money left and right chasing pumps. And if I would have just kept the same amount of Bitcoin that I started out with back then, I would have gotten to where I am today a lot faster. Okay. And luckily I found HEX, which literally changed my behavior and my psychological conditioning into realizing that I need to save myself from my own emotions. So there's a lot of people out there that I think might be new to crypto that need to hear this message, which is that holding PulseChain and holding PulseX, number one, it's not going to make you an overnight millionaire. All right. Let's see. Oh, how's Chad doing? Anyway, number two, I think my voice is okay. Number two is that I see a lot of people out there that want to trade PulseX for PulseChain. I mean, think about it, guys. PulseChain was a 2-week sacrifice period, right? There's only 2 weeks, so I don't blame you guys if a lot of people missed out on it. 2-week sacrifice period, and a lot of people missed it. So a lot of people got into PulseX because that sacrifice period was about 4 to 6 weeks. But now a lot of people are probably looking to trade their PulseX for PulseChain. Do you guys really think that you're the only one with that idea? Right? You really need to realize that a lot of people have the same idea as you. You're not going to outsmart the market, and you might not even get a great deal if you're trying to trade your PulseX for PulseChain. You know, to be honest, and again, I'm just a guy on YouTube, don't have a crystal ball. I really do think that a better play would be to buy HEX and then swap the HEX for PulseChain to secure your PulseChain bag. However, what I think is going to happen that's going to upset a lot of people, and how I think a lot of people are going to get wrecked when this thing launches, is that their giant bags of PulseChain are going to dip hard, like super heavy, and PulseChain is going to skyrocket up for a very brief period of time. And I think that a lot of people are going to chase the pump into PulseChain, and then PulseChain is going to dip really hard as like a lot of short-term sellers that got into the PulseChain sacrifice take some quick profit. And then I think they're going to dump PulseChain back down 50 to 80% in the first 30 to 60 days. Again, this is just the best prediction I have based on what happened with Ethereum, based on what I see over and over again with every different popular cryptocurrency, especially layer ones and stuff. The early pre-sale guys usually take short-term profit. Now, in the past, those were venture capitalists, which are really vulture capitalists, which never even care about the users at the end of the day. So at least you have a sacrifice set that's had their psychological conditioning and training from HEX, and they know what works. So I don't think the dump in PulseChain is going to last that long, but I do think a lot of people are going to essentially be lemmings and just follow the herd and do what everyone else is doing. And I really want you guys to abstract yourself from that and get out of that. And really just realize that if you're thinking one way because you were a little bit late, you missed the PulseChain sacrifice, and now you got your bag of PulseX. If you're thinking you might get a good deal in the first 24 to 48 hours of ratio trading and trying to swap your PulseX for PulseChain, I don't think that's the case. And I just want you to be careful. And again, this is not what you want to hear, but oftentimes patience and doing nothing is really the best option. And then dollar cost averaging in the dips is literally the best non-financial advice that I've ever had. And if you can follow it, and I get it, it's hard to follow because your emotions are telling you not to. Dollar cost averaging at the dips means layering in your buys. 1,000 here, 1,000 here, 1,000 here at a 50% dip, 55% dip, 60% dip, 65% dip, etc., etc. Okay. That's what dollar cost averaging at the lows is. But a lot of people even mess that up because once something dips, for example, 50%, they hesitate on DCAing in because they say, oh, well, what if it dips a little bit more, a little bit more? And then they keep saying that and they keep saying that. And now all of a sudden you're at an 80% dip and you're thinking, well, what if it dips 85% in? Then if it dips 85%, well, what if it doesn't? And then it goes all the way back up to the 50% dip and you just missed your dollar cost average structuring. So if you had $5,000, for example, the ideal play, for example, to secure your bag of PulseChain would be when PulseChain dips, put in $1 grand at negative 50%, $1 grand at negative 55%, $1 grand at negative 60%, $1 grand at negative 65%, and $1 grand at negative 70%. And then your average is what, like negative 60 something percent. So on average, you're not going to time the market, right? But your dollar cost averaging at the dip and you're establishing your position a lot better than the people with the happy trigger finger that wanted instant gratification, that wanted to move everything in one lump sum and tried to be an overnight millionaire. Okay. I'm hearing that audio. It's my speakers. Okay. I'm going to assume my audio is good, guys. Sorry about the first 10-minute rant. I didn't even know. Anyway. Yeah. So the gist of what I'm trying to say, guys, is a lot of you think you have to do something when PulseChain launches, when 99% of you guys will probably be fine doing nothing and just trying to buy the dip. Okay. A lot of you guys might shoot yourself in the foot, and that's how you'll get wrecked in PulseChain. So trigger fingers, shooting yourself in the foot, yada, yada. It's just repeating the narrative of holding, right? A lot of people are new here. I get it. The mainstream thing to do in crypto is not to hold. What the trendy thing to do is to chase the flavor of the month, or to, ape into an NFT collection and hope that you're going to get rich. Okay. I mean, this is really the opposite of what works. You might hear about one guy that made, that became an overnight millionaire, but you're not hearing about the thousands of silent evidence. Okay. There's thousands of dead bodies that got wrecked along the way trying to chase pumps and short-term gratification. And you're not hearing about them because when they lose money, they get quiet. And when people make money, they get very loud. That's why why do you think we have so many HEX and PulseChain YouTubers that are publicly showing their face? Because we figured out what works. Okay. And what works is holding something for at least a year. It's a months and years game, not a days and weeks game. Okay. And I say this all the time, but a lot of people that have lost the plot or never found the plot in the first place need to hear it again, which is not what people want to hear. Sit on your ass and do nothing is not what people want to hear. Okay. Sit on your ass and do nothing, or dollar cost average in at the dip, is not what people want to hear. And I know that we're at a huge dip right now, actually. I mean, let's address the elephant in the room. Yeah, if you bought HEX at 40 cents and you're down 80% on your bag or 70%, that's rough. And if this is your first rodeo in crypto, I'm sorry to hear that. But look, dips are regular in crypto. And we've been warning people about this since day one. It's not even the first 70% dip we've had. We've had a couple of them. And at every point, people complain and they feel bad. And I get it. It does feel bad to see the number go down. But the people that really make the generational wealth are the people that believe long-term. And if you believe HEX isn't going to die and it's on its way to $1, $10, $100 in the next 2, 3, 4 years, then you're going to be the guy dollar cost averaging at these prices. But that's only for the people that see that vision, which is not a lot of people, right? And not a lot of people are going to understand. And again, if it's going to bother you and keep you up at night, then crypto is not even for you. Maybe HEX isn't even the coin for you. So dump it all right now and then have fun buying back at $10. You know what I mean? So it's like same thing with Bitcoin. I can show you a tweet of some guy that said, hey, I wish I didn't sell my 1,700 Bitcoin at 30 cents because now it's $8, $8 Bitcoin. Wouldn't you kill for the opportunity to buy $8 Bitcoin? Yeah, I would. So you need to abstract yourself from the day to day. Okay. And I get that like crypto brings in a lot of people that are desperate for money. And I was desperate to escape the 9-to-5 rat race as well. But in that desperation, you have a low time preference and you have a lot of scarcity mindset, meaning the first 2 to 10x that you make, you might dump it all, but for a guy that put in, it's a lot different for someone with $1 million when they make a 2 or a 3x than somebody with $1,000, right? If I have $1 million and I make a 3x on that, I now have $3 million. I could do a lot with that because of the compounding exponential nature of money. However, if you put in $1,000 and you sell yourself out at a 3x because you're scared or whatever, or maybe let's take a scenario, right? You take PulseChain, you put $1,000 into it, you ride it up 50x, and then you ride it back down 80%. And then you sell at the low of 80%. Well, congratulations. You just made, what'd you just make? Like $3,000, $4,000? That's not life-changing money, guys. That's not life-changing money. So, you can buy an iPhone or a laptop or whatever with your $5,000. Congratulations. But if you're starting out with low amounts of money, like a lot of us did, like I definitely did, a 2x to a 5x isn't life-changing. You need the 10x, 100x, 1000x, even 10,000x. I still haven't achieved a 10,000x one day, but I hope to. One day I hope to achieve a 10,000x. But, I'll tell you what, 1,000x really is life-changing. So you don't get there by just complaining and hopping over to the thing that's pumping at the time. That's all I'm trying to say. That is all I'm trying to say. Let's see. So guys, I know I had some tips that I missed. Let me try to go up a little bit and find them. I apologize to anybody that I missed their question. If your question is silly, I am not going to look at it. People are worried about doxing themselves and showing their face. Guys, as long as you're not offending people, I don't think you have to worry too much about real life attacks. Okay. Like, I'm trying to spread good, solid information and let everyone know about it. And if you have a problem with the contest or the giveaway, first of all, I'm not hosting it. That's Crypto Stylist. So if you have a question about that, go talk to her. She's the one that is sponsoring it and wanted to do it. And if you're afraid of making a TikTok or showing your face on the internet, don't join. Okay. That's all I got to say about that. Sorry. If it's not for you, don't do it. You can spend all day, being afraid of showing your face publicly, but it's not going to, we trade our anonymity for influence, basically. If you don't want any influence and you want to remain anonymous, that's fine, but you can miss out on some opportunities that way. Right. So what else? Yeah. A lot of you guys want to chase a pump after something's already went up a whole lot. That's the exact opposite of what you should do. Okay. And I think a lot of people out there probably bought PulseX or got in the sacrifice phase and don't even understand the magnitude of what they got themselves into. And I'm just here to kind of say that if you don't hold these things for a multi-month and multi-year time frame, like 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, you're not going to see the life-changing wealth that I believe it's going to create. Okay. So a lot of people are talking about all the hype and everything and why PulseX, people are giving their price predictions of, oh, PulseX, 50x in a month, 100x in 2 months. That's not how it works. Maybe 100x after 8 months or a year, maybe 1,000x after 2 years. But if you're not holding through these wild dips, again, the price you pay for the mad gains is extreme volatility. And so if you just got in based on the hype alone, you don't really understand the magnitude of why I think these things are so revolutionary. We're basically making a better Bitcoin and a better Ethereum and a better Uniswap. Okay. We're taking what's already worked and we're recreating it in the real world and we're making it better. Okay. So HEX is literally a better store of value with better game theory, better design, modular, isolated, no admin keys. PulseChain is literally a better Ethereum. It's cheaper, faster, better for the environment. The world's largest airdrop, great marketing. And PulseX with the buy and burn function. I think people like PulseX because the buy and burn function is something that they can understand. Whereas like with PulseChain and HEX, there's a lot more complexity to them. So people think once they've figured out, oh, buy and burn PulseX, they think it's like the most genius thing in the world. It is, but PulseChain and HEX are actually more innovative than PulseX. PulseX is a clone of Uniswap with a couple of incentives to stake your PulseX and to provide liquidity. And these are most of the ideas from PulseX that have been copied from existing platforms, whereas there's some actually there's some originality in HEX and PulseChain. So I think a lot of people don't realize that either. Oscar wants to know, I heard everyone is getting one PulseChain at launch for gas fees. Is this true? No, not everyone. Okay, not everyone. But if you sacrifice for PulseX, yeah, you'll get one PulseChain as well for gas fees. And don't even worry about it either, because there's free faucets. Okay, like if you want free PulseChain, there's a website you can go to when PulseChain launches that's going to give you free PulseChain. Not a lot, but you know, anywhere from $1 to $200 worth. It's kind of a lottery system. So it's called a faucet. Any website that gives you free coins is called a faucet. And if you go to freepulse.io, today it's on testnet only. It's live and working. You can test it out. But if you want free coins when PulseChain launches, and if you didn't get into any sacrifice phase, you know, PulseX or PulseChain, you can go to pulsex.io and you can just solve a CAPTCHA and you'll get, you know, a couple thousand PulseChain tokens right in your wallet. Should be more than enough for gas for a long, long time. Okay. Crypto already hailed to coffee. Thank you, man. Let's see what else we got. So that was my rant. I'm kind of pissed that the whole first 10, 15 minutes of it were shit. Sorry, guys. Crypto Artie 2.99 super sticker. Lovely. I love that little monkey dude. Thank you. All right. What do we have here? The free faucet is not giving away free pulse. They are giving away their own free token, right? No, they're giving away free pulse. That's why it's called freepulse.io. I think they might have another token, but they're literally giving away free tokens. Freepulse.io is giving away free pulse, but only when PulseChain launches. So don't fall for scams, okay? Do not fall for scams. Yeah, it seemed like an eternity. Yeah, I'll probably edit out that part. Shit. Come on. You're better than that, Crypto Coffee. You're better than that. All right. Is PulseX a pancake clone or a uni clone? I've heard both. You know what? It's more similar to a pancake clone, but pancake was a clone of uni. So technically it's a clone of a clone, just like Ethereum is, or just like PulseChain is technically a clone of Binance Smart Chain, which is a clone of Ethereum. So with each iteration, you can add more or take away certain features. But if you look at PancakeSwap and you look at PulseX, you could see the similarity for yourself. But all these platforms really are just Uniswap with a lot more functionality baked in. So, why even have HEX? Well, probably because it's the premier store of value coin that's gone up over 10,000x so far. That's designed with great, amazing game theory, awesome community, awesome founder, better logo, better website than Bitcoin. Solves a lot of the negative externalities that Bitcoin has with hash rate and having to destroy the environment to pay for electricity bills, whereas, you know, the inflation in HEX is paid to stakers to hold the price up. It's basically a price positive feedback loop with HEX, right? And so why have it? Well, because if you like stores of value in crypto, the narrative of crypto is to be a store of value. And if you like coins with product market fit, I'll tell you what, there's $7.2 trillion in CDs in the US and China alone. That's worth more than gold and credit card companies and payment networks combined. Okay, so HEX is the world's first digital blockchain CD. It's got product market fit. You know, the goal of cryptocurrency is to decentralize all the products at a bank, right? To get rid of the middlemen, get rid of their terrible customer service, their terrible hours, get rid of the censorship where they can just shut your money off at any time. And Bitcoin did a good job of being a store of value, right? But HEX is being a better store of value. It's like a digital savings account that pays you interest and yield. And you need interest and yield to beat inflation because they're printing money out of thin air. And our magic made up internet money is better than the government's magic made up internet money. So if you want to buy HEX, it's kind of like buying Bitcoin when it was 2.5 years old because it's on the same trajectory price wise. And I expect it to continue. And the fact that it's down right now is an opportunity and it's a feature, not a bug, right? The volatility is literally baked in as an opportunity. It could be less volatile. You know, we could just add more liquidity, but it's mimicking what Bitcoin did in its meteoric rise. And quite frankly, you're not going to make life-changing wealth with Bitcoin anymore. You know, Bitcoin, maybe how much price gains do you think Bitcoin has left in the tank? Maybe a 2x, maybe a 3x, whereas HEX, probably another 100 to 1,000x left to go, you know, in the next 3 or 4 or 5 years, maybe even a 10,000x if we're talking 6 or 7 years, right? So it's doing what Bitcoin did. It's doing it better game theory, better design, pays interest to stakers only, who basically virtually lend value to the non-staking class. And essentially, It's just like the premier store value token, and it's going to exist on PulseChain. Why get it now? Well, you're also going to get a copy on PulseChain if you get it now. So 2 coins are typically better than 1. And if you don't want it, then don't buy it, right? But I do see this lasting, and I do see the fact that it's down right now as a temporary phenomenon, which happens in every cryptocurrency, guys. Every cryptocurrency dips 85 to 95% every couple of years. HEX is experiencing its first prolonged dip, but we've literally had multiple 60% dips or more, about 7 or 8 of them so far. And every time HEX has came back higher. So typically dollar cost averaging at the dips is a good idea, but none of this is financial advice. So if you think you missed out on HEX, well, have fun buying it at $10. You know what I mean? Let's see. All right, Davis, if you keep talking about the what could possibly go wrong if you dox yourself, bro, it's a TikTok competition, all right? And I'm going to have to block you. I appreciate the tips, but you got to stop being so paranoid that like doxing yourself is giving away like your information to criminals. Like, come on, man. That's just silly. If you don't want to join the competition, don't join it, okay? But I'm going to put you in a timeout because you keep repeating yourself. All right. I think people don't like Richard's demeanor. Yeah, well, there's a little something for everybody. If you don't like Richard, maybe you'll like my channel. If you don't like my channel, maybe you'll like Huddle Dog's channel, so forth and so on. Okay. PRT, people want to know about the PRT coin. Guys, I think this is a big, big nothing burger. I think PRT is literally just, I don't even know if it's a real coin. You know, I think it might just be there as a placeholder to test out the PulseX staking function. PRT, it stands for party token. If you look into it, I've never heard Richard even mention this token. This might literally just be a way to test out PulseX staking rewards. So I'm not even gonna speculate on it. Like, as far as I'm gonna speculate on PRT right now is that it's literally just a placeholder token meant to test PulseX staking rewards. So I wouldn't get too excited about like loading up your PRT bag, because honestly, guys, that coin might not even exist in reality. All right, let's see. Who bases their financial decisions on not liking someone? Archie, surprisingly, a lot of people. Surprisingly, a lot of people. So, hey, the more faces that we can get out there, the more different personalities we can get promoting PulseChain, PulseX, HEX, the better. Okay. So yeah, guys. I mean, if you have any questions, go ahead and ask me in the comments below. We got about 20 minutes left here. I thought Richard was making an incentive token. He is. The incentive token is right now, it's called INC. So if you go to the testnet version of PulseX, you can see the incentive token right now. So people are maybe conflating the incentive token with the PRT token. The PRT token is probably just going to be a whole nothing thing. Okay. That's for staking your PulseX, but the incentive token is for liquidity providing. So up in the top left corner, if you go to pulsex.com or the testnet, you can see earn and farm. If you go to farm, that's where you can earn INC from liquidity farming or liquidity mining or liquidity providing. All these things are essentially synonymous, okay? And you can earn INC token from that. But staking is where people are seeing that PRT token, which we don't know anything about. All right. Dude, I don't think it even means Pulse Reward Token, because if you click on it, it says party and not Pulse Reward Token. So I really don't think I think it's a big nothing burger, guys. I wouldn't get too excited about PRT right now, to be honest. Like it might not even exist. You know what I mean? What pools do I plan on farming? Good question. Anything that looks good. You know, I'm interested in promoting things that have, you know, positive feedback loops within the ecosystem. So I like coins that add functionality to the coins I already have. So things like Hedron, things like Maxi, you know, maybe if there was like a loan token pool, maybe I would do that one. I can't think of anything else that I'm really interested in right now. I'm sure a lot of tokens are going to try to be like campaigning. You might even see this on the PulseX voting platform. What I think is going to end up happening is that coins are going to like campaign for votes, right? So people are going to, like, in the real world, like it'll be a social phenomenon where you'll have these new companies coming up and these new cryptocurrencies coming up and trying to get popular. And so trying to get people that own PulseX to vote for their coin to be voted into the PulseX staking pools. And we're gonna have to be skeptical about them, right? So I'll give you my thoughts on them when they when they actually come in. But right now, the only coins I can think of are Hadron, Maxi, Liquid Loans, Loan Token. I can't think of anything else that I'm really super interested in right now. All right. What is the point of staking PulseX if we don't get a reward token? Well, it's not that you're not getting a reward token. You're staking it you're staking PulseX in a staking pool that earns you some of that token. So it's not INC that you're earning from staking PulseX. It's whatever tokens people are incentivizing from staking. So for example, right now it's the PRT token, but in the future, it could be Hadron, it could be HEX, it could be whatever the PulseX people vote on. So you're definitely getting rewarded for staking PulseX, but you're going to get rewarded in other tokens, not in INC token. Hopefully that makes sense. Yeah, and it could be multiple different tokens, right? There could be more than one. So is sitting on PulseX and single side staking without buying PLS a decent strategy? Well, I think if you sit on PulseX and do single side staking, if it's a coin that is worthwhile to earn, then that's not a bad idea. Or if you just want to earn more, well, see, you're not earning more PulseX when you're staking PulseX. Like you're earning whatever tokens are available in the earn pools. So if you see something that catches your eye that it looks like a good deal to start earning, then yeah, that's probably a decent strategy. Again, I think scaling into PLS using HEX at the beginning is probably the best option. And then you can wait for PLS to dip in the first 30 to 60 days. And then you can start to catch some there by catching a falling knife. All right. Let's see. We have any mods in the chat? Who wants to be a mod here? We've got a lot of new people. Benny Blanco, Chaotic Creations. We've got somebody that's just so fixed on this doxing people. Dude, if you don't want to join the contest, don't join it. And it's not even my contest, so don't even talk to me about it anymore. If you mention it one more time, I'm going to block you, okay? All right. Or I could just have a mod do it. Benny Blanco, modded, sir. Where are you? I just lost you. Add moderator. Cool. All right. So guys, that's my that's the best advice I can probably give you guys today. I mean, it's really just, it's not what people want to hear, but it's sitting on your butt and doing nothing. It's probably going to save yourself. Okay. If you're going to think you have to do something in the initial couple of days, you might lose a lot of money. And so again, if you are smart enough to understand what you're doing, by all means, go ahead, but take responsibility for your own actions. You know, crypto is about self-sovereignty, taking the power back into your own hands, and not just watching some guy on YouTube for financial advice, because I don't have all the answers, and neither do you. And anybody claiming to have all the answers is really full of shit, to be honest. And so we need to unlearn a lot of the behavior. We need to decondition ourselves from a lot of what we thought crypto was all about, which if you listen to any of the previous influencers on YouTube lately, a lot of them just talk about the coin of the week, the new trend of the month, you know, whether it's GameFi or DeFi or NFTs or whatever it may be. A lot of these things are fads that might not last or stand the test of time. Okay. So yeah, there was some old investor that said, if you bought right, you can hold tight. So hold tight and you'll be all right. I like that one too. You know, everyone loves to chase a pump, right? And I know that a lot of you guys are going to do it despite my warnings. But if you see something that's already gone up 10x or 100x, be patient, guys. What goes up must come down. And again, things don't go up to the right in a straight line, okay? They go up and to the right in an extremely crooked, volatile, you know, death line where it just plays to everyone's emotions just enough where that everybody shakes themselves out. This happens over and over again. It's not ideal. It's not fun, right? But you got to know what you're signing yourself up for. And if you're not going to be able to sleep at night, if your coin is down 50 to 80%, I'm just trying to warn all you guys right now. This is going to happen. There's going to be extreme volatility when PulseChain launches. And if you see your coin down a whole bunch and you feel like then you got to sell it at the low or buy at the top because you see a coin going up a whole lot, you're not going to make that much money in crypto. I mean, really just dollar cost average at the dips, hold for a multi-year time frame, and then thank me in 2025. You know what I mean? It's a get rich slow scheme, not a get rich quick. And so I think a lot of people, I see when I look around on social media, I see a lot of clearly new people, right? They're clearly new because they're giving these crazy price predictions. And like, I hate to break it to you guys, but just because you own something doesn't mean it's going to go up 100x in the first month. You know what I mean? So I see a lot of crazy price predictions. For example, like PulseChain is going to do, or PulseX is going to do, 10x or 20x in the first month. Probably not, guys. I think PulseX will probably go down right away, and PulseX and PulseChain will probably shoot up right away because everyone's got the same idea. Everyone got into PulseX and missed PulseChain. So what happens in that case? Don't necessarily just follow the herd, okay? And don't convince yourself that just because you own the thing that it's going to go up. Like, some people are they have delusional biases to the point where just, they think because they own the coin and they maybe understand a little bit about what it does, that means everyone's going to buy it, right? But if everyone else already bought it, there's orders of magnitude more people that got into the PulseX sacrifice than that got into the PulseChain sacrifice. To me, it's pretty simple what's going to happen. Again, I don't have a crystal ball. I would be happy to be wrong and PulseX just shoots up right away. I'd be happy to be wrong about that. But I don't think I'm going to be. So yeah, staking and holding is pretty much the best thing you can do in crypto, guys. Staking, holding, and chilling. And, even better, just promoting your own bags. Because if you're staking and holding and chilling with all that free time, what can you do? You can actually get out there and use whatever skill set you have, whether that's search engine optimization or making a blog or making a YouTube channel, or just, something in your day-to-day life. If you're a consultant, maybe you can add in PulseChain and HEX to the mix of things for people to talk about. And I think self-promotion and generating demand is the most wholesome thing you can do, aside from buying and holding and doing nothing at all. So, yep, Crypto Coffee, the boring channel. All right. Soul and Surf says, is PHEX copy bridged as a 1-to-1 back to EHEX? I don't know what you mean. I think you're using those words in the wrong way, but you just get a copy of PHEX if you are holding EHEX at the time of the fork. Okay. You can bridge them back and forth, but bridging them is an action that you have to take. So let's say I'm holding 1,000 HEX in my wallet a day before the fork. Okay. The fork happens. Now PulseChain exists. Now I magically have 1,000 PHEX over in my PulseChain wallet, or on my MetaMask on PulseChain. Okay. Got 1,000 EHEX, 1,000 HEX on PulseChain. And you can bridge them back and forth if you want to by going to pulseramp.com. If you're not familiar with the ramp yet, make sure you check it out. Pulseramp.com. If you want to test it out on the testnet today, I really recommend that you do, because that's probably a thing that a lot of people are going to want to do early on. But bridging is just an activity that you can do. So when the fork happens, as long as you're holding the coin, you're just going to get a copy of the coin. And you can bridge EHEX over to PulseChain, or you can bridge PHEX over to Ethereum, but what I really see happening is a lot of one-way bridging. I see a lot of people bridging their coins over to PulseChain because, number one, there might be liquidity provider incentives for people to bring massive liquidity over, which would be great. Number two, once you're in an environment where you're treated better, where things are way faster and way cheaper, what do you think happens to those people? They're not going to want to go back to the place where they have to pay $200 to swap. You know what I mean? It's like if you're moving to a country with better laws, then you're not going to want to come back to the country where you were treated under, an authoritarian dictatorship, right? Oftentimes people will go where they're treated best. And I think this goes for PulseChain as well. I think it's going to be a one-way ticket. Now, you can bridge your coins from PulseChain back to Ethereum, but why would people want to swap for $200? I mean, people are talking about the Ethereum merge coming up. The Ethereum merge is not going to fix the gas problem. I hope you guys know that. People are it's just another hype event. In my mind, it's probably a buy the rumor, sell the news event. But gas isn't going to be fixed on Ethereum for a long time. It's going to be really high, and that's due to the price of Ethereum itself. Mark Carr, thank you for the tip, dude. I sacrificed from Trust Wallet and MetaMask. It's small potatoes, but do you have any idea how Trust Wallet will work with getting my airdrop using the mainnet on Trust when it goes live? Well, I believe Trust Wallet is very similar to MetaMask, so I believe it'll be essentially the same functionality, where you just click the button to flip-flop networks back and forth. And if it's not, you can always, I can make a video about how to connect your Trust Wallet to MetaMask, but I'm sure there's a setting in the Trust Wallet settings to flip-flop networks back and forth. So even if it's not as simple as an automatic pop-up, I'm pretty sure it'll be an automatic pop-up. If it's not, you just copy and paste the URL, and I'll make a video later, but I've actually made a video in the past about that URL. You can just copy and paste that RPC URL into your wallet to make sure that you're connecting to the new network. So as long as you can copy and paste something, you'll be good, dude. Don't worry about it. I'm 99% sure that Trust Wallet is self-sovereign, meaning I think that you hold your own private keys with Trust Wallet. So even if you sacrifice from Trust Wallet, again, I really prefer MetaMask. I'm just a MetaMask guy, but Trust Wallet seems like it'll be totally fine. Like, I don't see any problems with that at all. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Coffee's a nomad. Yeah, I stole that quote from Nomad Capitalist, right? I totally did. Busted. Crypto Copy, I think the confusion is between how Hex will be named on Pulse, as if Richard wants to Hex on Pulse to be called Hex, then what will be a Pulse side of the bridged Hex? Then what will be a Pulse side of the bridged Hex call, and then the one on ETH? Oh, well, yeah. So I think Hex will be Hex relative to its native network. So really the nomenclature, I think, goes like this. The word Hex is only appended with a letter if it's coming from a different territory. So you could think of eHex, and the letter E is like the passport, that Hex is carrying with it to say, hey, I'm Hex that originated from Ethereum. So when you're looking at PulseChain, or when you're looking at PulseX on the user interface, on the UI, you're only going to see Hex being called Hex. Now, really, that's Hex on PulseChain. And when you bridge in Hex from Ethereum, it becomes eHex. This is actually vice versa. Over on Uniswap on Ethereum, when you have Hex native to Ethereum, it's just going to be called Hex over there. But if you're bridging in Hex from the Pulse chain, then it's appended with a little letter P, indicating that it came from Pulse chain. So the little letter E and the little letter P are only needed when something originated from on a different blockchain. I know that might be a little complex, but it'll work out fine, guys. You'll be okay. You'll be okay. I know a lot of people use eHex and pHex differently, but when you're looking at the UI, there's going to have to be one hex, and that hex will be the native hex to the native blockchain underlying. And then if you see hex with a letter in front of it, that'll be the hex that came from a different blockchain, if that makes sense. But sometimes I mess that up. Sometimes I say pHex and eHex interchangeably. Yeah, I might not have said that perfectly in the past. When do we learn more about the PulseChain airdrop for sacrifices? They already happened. The sacrifices already happened. So sorry. If you want to learn more about it, there's not much to learn. That already happened, dude. I'm very sorry if you missed it, but hey, you'll probably have a dip buying opportunity for Pulse and PulseX when it comes out. Yeah, not much more to learn. I mean, Richard Hart made an app that tells you your balances if you did sacrifice. You can just look up. I guess I could put it in the description below, but yeah, it's pretty cool to check your balances. Let me try to get that Universal PulseChain sacrifice checker. All right, there's a link in the chat. And if you want to see how much PulseChain and PulseX you might have, click that link in the chat, copy and paste your public address. Those values are not official yet, but they're probably pretty darn close. So yeah. He's asking when airdrop. Dude, I don't have the release date, man. I'm sorry. I don't have the release date. Let's see. Are those sacrifice balances official and set in stone? Yeah, no, they're not, Giovanni. Thank you for asking this. So the website I posted in the chat, those are not the official balances. They might be 99, maybe 95% accurate, but they're not official. So don't quote me on that one, but Richard Hart did tweet it out the other day. So, We're still pre-viral. Yes, we are. If you look at the number of users every day, this is a fun fact, actually. The number of users in HEX is growing linearly at a pretty constant rate. I think we just hit 80,000 stakers right now. If you look at the number of stakers, that's kind of the real metric of adoption. In my mind, that's one of the best metrics of adoption for HEX, right? But what viral means, what virality means is exponential growth. So it's when the flat line, the steady line that's going at a linear rate, all of a sudden does a hockey stick and goes in like the shape of an S curve, right? So we have linear growth right now. Can you imagine when we have exponential growth? And we've done a 10,000x with linear growth in user base. So linear growth in user base, exponential growth in user base. Like, I don't think people realize how high the price of HEX can go. It's just that when you say it out loud, it's like when Bitcoin was $10 and you were out there shouting like, you know, Bitcoin can be $10,000 one day. Everybody would have called you an idiot, right? They'd be like, no way, dude. It's too late for Bitcoin. I'm getting into this other thing or whatever. It's like, well, you can do that, but have fun buying the top. Will wrapped ETH have more value than ETH on PLS? No. I don't know. I don't know if I understand this question, but I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't know what that means. I'm sorry. Questions in the chat. We still don't have a way to check balance if you did with anything besides Ethereum, right? So again, that link that I posted in the channel or in the chat, that will show you your balances for most chains, I believe, but they're still working on things like Tron and things like Avalanche, maybe. They're still working on a couple blockchains, which is why it's not perfect yet, because there's like 1% of people that sacrificed on, you know, some ghost blockchain that nobody uses. And we have to account for those people. So, you know, your balances might be diluted a little bit by the, you know, tiny 1% of people that use a different blockchain. But I do think that that balance checker, it seems to, I mean, let me check. Seems to be checking like most, oh, the Terra network is missing. Okay, so they're working on bringing in the Terra network. But I think they've brought in a lot of other networks. So it'll be pretty accurate, man. Pretty accurate. John May says, damn, you still alive? Yes, I am, sir. Alive and well. Should you farm your pulse chain once mainnet comes out? I think that's not a bad idea. If you have a lot of pulse chain, being a liquidity provider is one thing you can do. Here's one thing I'll say, guys. Being a liquidity provider is not for everybody. Okay. If you're new or if you're a smaller holder, you might have more opportunity in other things because there is risk if you're a liquidity provider. So if you're talking about farming, and I'm assuming you're meaning liquidity farming, that might be risky if you're not a very large holder already. Okay. Because there's this thing called impermanent loss, and the pairs with more impermanent loss are going to be the US dollar coin pairs. The reason for that is that, let's say you put up an equal amount of HEX and US dollar coin, right? And then HEX shoots up and it 10x's in price. Well, you're actually left as a liquidity provider holding less HEX and more US dollars. But the more US dollars that you end up holding are not worth as much as the HEX that you would have had because HEX is now 10x higher. So you'll be stuck wishing that you were just holding HEX the whole time and not providing liquidity on the pair. So liquidity providers benefit the most when they're paired to when prices are stable and when prices don't move at all. So they benefit from low volatility and high volume, which are often, you know, at odds with each other. Usually high volume means high volatility. So liquidity providers are probably going to benefit the most from the PRC ERC pairs. If you want to be a liquidity provider for a PRC ERC version of a coin, for example, PHEX or HEX and EHEX, I think that pair might have some lower risk. But again, I think if you're like a lower holder of Pulse Chain, you might just be better off playing around with other stuff or holding it and just staking it rather than trying to provide liquidity. Jason, thank you for the tip. I'm still new to this. I missed the Pulse sacrifice, but if I wanted to swap an airdropped Pulse version of any of my coins for PLS during the pre-bridge window, it will require a small amount of PLS for gas fee. That's correct, Jason. But you can rewind this video, but I did mention there's a faucet. What a faucet is it's a place that gives you free coins. Not a lot, but enough for gas. So what you're going to want to do if you want to do something right away, again, be careful, but you can go to freepulse.io. Freepulse.io is a faucet that's going to be just giving you, a couple thousand pulse tokens, probably worth like $1, not much, but way, way more than enough for gas fees. So I would recommend the moment that PulseChain comes out, go to freepulse.io and get some free PLS so that you can actually swap those airdropped PRCs for Pulse. And by the way, I think that's actually not a bad idea. If you've got coins like Chainlink or Aave or Compound or whatever, and now you get the free copy, it's not a bad idea to consider swapping those coins for PLS if you don't already have PLS. So, Jason, I think you're onto it. I think you got the right idea. Just make sure you check out that faucet website. Tin Top says, yeah, impermanent loss is misleading. It's really just a bullshit term for permanent loss. If it is permanent, if it is permanent, if the price never goes back to the ratio in which you enter your position, that's correct, Tin Top. And often it never does. So that's what I'm saying. Liquidity providing is a much riskier way to make money on PulseChain. A lot of PulseX holders would probably be better off staking their PulseX in the earn pools. But again, bigger holders might benefit from liquidity providing on ERC PRC pairs. Let's see. What will be the stablecoin on Pulse? Well, I know that Liquid Loans is creating basically an algorithmic asset-backed stablecoin that's backed by $1 of PLS. It's going to be called USDL. And I've heard rumors of another stablecoin launching on PulseChain as well. But in reality, for the first couple months, I do believe that the most used stablecoin is going to be bridged USDC. Probably it'll be bridged USDC along with USDL will probably be the number 2. And then after a couple months time, when these other stablecoin competitors want to come in, then I think we'll see new stablecoins. That'll be awesome. I can't wait for that. But also, I think one day Circle, the holding company of USDC, one day they might issue USDC native to PulseChain, just like they did for Binance Smart Chain and Avalanche and a couple of other chains. So I think hopefully that's on their radar as well. But initially, I think it's going to be USDC bridged in, and then maybe USDL. Let's see. Swarnajot Das says, what crypto should I keep in my wallet to buy Pulse when it launches? I have ETH. Is it fine, or should I buy HEX? Well, if you have ETH, you're only going to get a 1-for-1 ratio of ETH to Pulse. So if you want more Pulse, I think you're going to be able to buy a lot more with HEX, quantity-wise. But you'd also be selling your ETH for HEX. And so, I mean, that's a decision you have to make, right? I've gone over in my previous videos that I think it is a better idea to buy PLS using HEX early on in the first 2 days. But again, it's very, very dangerous. And if you're just holding ETH, if you have 1 ETH in your wallet now, you're only going to get 1 PLS. It's a 1-for-1 ratio because all the Ethereum just turns into PulseChain token. And, it's probably only going to be worth like 0.01 penny. So even if you have like 10 ETH, you're only going to at most have like a couple pennies worth of PulseChain. So not telling you any financial advice, but you might have more opportunity with HEX. Let's see. What else do we have? Well, we're at an hour 5. So if we don't have any other questions, or if I missed some questions, here's one. If I have Polygon in my HEX, if I have my HEX in Polygon mainnet, will I get something on PulseChain? No, you have to move it to Ethereum mainnet. Good question, Fran. If anybody's holding coins on a different blockchain that's not Ethereum, you're not going to get the free coins. You're not going to get the 1-for-1 copies. Okay. So yeah, you're going to want to move HEX out of Polygon and into Ethereum for sure. Good question, because I think a lot of people might be in your shoes there. Will it crash ETH by inflating its supply? No. So prices don't go up and down based on supply. you have to consider the demand and then also the liquid supply. So just because the supply of PLS is very, very big, you have to understand that a lot of this supply is held by entities that are not selling, number one, and number two, they're not putting their PLS up for sale on the market. So when we talk about supply and demand, the supply that matters to you is liquid supply. How much supply is actually for sale on the market, right? So you might have trillions of PulseChain, but there might only be a couple billion for sale on PulseX, right? So things don't just crash because they have a high total supply. It has to do with liquid supply versus demand. And I think demand will be a lot higher than liquid supply early on and for a long time. So let's see, that dude needs your course. Yeah, if you don't know anything about crypto and you're brand new to everything, check out hexpassiveincome.com. Okay, that's a very cheap course that might save you a lot of time and money. Hex is on Polygon. Yeah, so back in the day, I know when people were buying on the Dharma app, I think OpenSea just bought Dharma, but back in the day, you could actually buy Hex on Dharma for like almost no fees because Polygon is pretty low fees. But then you can't stake it, right? So that's the problem with Polygon. There was a period in time where we all tried to get QuickSwap to be cool, and we tried to bridge our Hex over into Polygon. But then we realized it was kind of pointless because you'd have to redeploy the entire Hex smart contract on Polygon. That's the beauty of PulseChain, is that the smart contract already exists over there because we're copying the whole system state. See, what Polygon did is that they made a side chain, which is basically cheap and fast. That's great. But they don't incentivize a whole lot of new development on there because it's hard to get people to switch over and bridge over. Because you can bridge over into Polygon and trade on QuickSwap instantaneously, sure. But if your coin does anything, if it has any functionality, all the UIs and front ends are still on Ethereum. So you end up having to bridge back into Ethereum to actually use your coin. So it basically was infeasible for us and a lot of other people. I mean, it's useful for trading, right? But not for everything else. And that's the cool thing about PulseChain is like, yeah, there's going to be trading, but everything else is already there waiting and ready to go. Plus the amount of innovation coming to PulseChain, from what I'm seeing, everybody's taking what worked on Ethereum and they're reiterating it and they're making it even better on PulseChain. Polygon, I haven't seen too much innovation there other than the cheap and fast fees. And I think people are launching NFTs over on Polygon too, but it's not really the same. You know what I mean? Jeff, Jay, thank you for the super sticker, sir. Todd M says only getting one pulse from one ETH. Well, yeah, in the 1-to-1 conversion. You know, if you enter the sacrifice phase, the vast lion's share, the vast majority of PulseChain tokens are going to be given to the sacrifice set, the set of people that entered the sacrifice phase. But if you're holding Ethereum, yeah, it will be converted because Ethereum is the network token for ETH. For ETH is the network token for Ethereum, right? Well, PLS is the network token for PulseChain. So ETH won't exist on PulseChain. All the ETH will become PLS. But that's the 1-for-1 airdrop. That's different than the sacrifice set. Not an ETH killer just taking all their money and users. Yeah. Well, we want to share the load, right? We want to take some of the load off of Ethereum. Maybe we'll even lower gas fees a little bit on Ethereum because so many people will come over to PulseChain. Who knows? All right, guys. Thank you all, 455 of you. I am, all right, we have one question. Actually, no, that was a price question. All right, guys, I'm going to be done for the day. I'll clip out the part where my shitty audio was shitty. Sorry about that. And make sure you like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video. Love you guys. It's going to be a great ride. Let's go to the moon. See you later.